Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I sometimes advise you to read certain articles that might not be related directly to an event that was covered by an article, because this article that was supposedly not really related to this one will reveal information that this article hid or ignored from us, which is, let's say, a fight in a town, let's say Bakhmut. I'm just giving you an example. And let's say the Ukrainians are going to report in Bakhmut, the Ukrainians did this to the Russians and they advanced and so on. And this is what they say. But then in another article, maybe the next day or the next week, unrelated to the fight, let's say something about the birds in Bakhmut. These guys will reveal information that actually will contradict what these guys were saying, which is actually after the Russian advances, the birds are doing just fine. You know, what do you mean the Russian advances? I thought the Ukrainians advanced. So this happened all the time. And right now I have two articles here that will contradict one another. Will contradict one another because one comes from the new Ukrainska Pravda that states something about something, and this one comes from New Voice of Ukraine stating something else that actually contradicts what these guys, one day apart. All right, so let's start with the first article. And as you remember, yesterday on the 26th there was a massive Russian missile attack on Ukraine. 55 missiles were launched. Okay, so here is the article. Emergency power cuts implemented in 10 oblasts due to Russian attacks. This is Ukrainska Pravda, and the date is today, January 27th, Friday, 2023. But wait, let's go back one day and we find something else. Remember, this is due to Russian attacks. Then I'll go back here. Yesterday, the 26th of January, that's Thursday, New Voice of Ukraine, Ukrainian media outlets, Ukraine downed 47 out of 55 missiles launched by Russia, says Commander-in-Chief. So, wait a minute. What's going on here? So the day before, you say, well, out of 55, we destroyed 47. That means 8 missiles escaped our air defenses. 8. Now, we know again from the Ukrainians and from the British intelligence that the Russians don't really know where they're shooting. They're just so inaccurate. They have an accuracy rating of 20% or so. So that means 20% of the Russians' projectiles, missiles, rockets, whatever they send or launch, only 20% are hitting the targets. Very poor accuracy. And every day we find out that whenever the Russians are launching something, a missile or a rocket or anything like that, they hit kindergartens, schools, hospitals, brothels, anyway. So things like this. So out of 100%, 20% passes the air defenses, and those 20% somehow destroy only this kind of civilian targets, no military targets. You rarely, 1 in 50, the Ukrainians will say, yeah, this was blown up as a military target. No, and I understand that, that's a war, I'm okay with that. But then you have this kind of situation when they claim, out of 55, they destroyed 47 in the air. That means there remains 8 missiles that escaped. Now, 8 missiles, we take 20%, right, as they said, out of 8 is about what? 1 point, let's say 7, 1.6, 1.8. So that means 1.7 missiles hit the target. The rest, or even if we take all of them, 8 hitting the targets. Did you see that article? Did you see the articles? What the article states? The first one, we have 10 oblasts due to Russian attacks. So let's read this little article here from today. Emergency power cuts were implemented in 10 oblasts. That's supposed to be because of those maximum of 8 Russian missiles, not 1.6 or 1.7 that normally, as they report, should. 1.7 missiles created these 10 oblasts to have power emergency cuts. Anyway, because of, look here, because of the significant shortage in the energy system. Okay, you say, well, maybe they don't produce. No, because down here you find out this. Ukrenergo said that electricity consumption is the same as it was on Thursday. However, the generating capacities of power plants and high voltage network were damaged in another Russian missile attack, singular, which is yesterday's. So what's going on here, my friends? Well, you know what it is. And we go back to this one from yesterday when they were bragging they got big balls and hey, we've down 47 out of 55. All right, but the next day, another article unrelated to this tells that actually they damage a lot of things. So let's see what's going on here. And they brag here that invading Russian forces launched 55 air and sea-based missiles against Ukraine on January 26, of which 47 were downed by Ukrainian Air Defense Forces. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Valery Zaluzny, said on the Telegram. And then they tell us where they launched these missiles. But again, go back to this. And these guys say this, and I'm quoting, however, the power system is still recovering after the previous series of enemy missile attacks, which caused damage to the power units of the power plants. As a result, the production of electricity at the operating power plants cannot fully cover the consumption, the statement. All oblasts have their consumption limits, but the dispatch center has recorded their exceedance in 10 oblasts. Due to this, emergency power cuts were implemented in Kharkiv, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, Kirovohrad, Kiev, Cherkasy, Zhytomyr, Volyn, Lviv, and Rivne Oblast. Ukrenergo does not rule out their implementation in other oblasts. So, back to the information. Were the Russians successful yesterday? Do you think that the maximum of 8 missiles that Ukrainian claim escaped their air defense systems caused this amount of damage? 10 oblasts and probably more. Not impossible, but listen, right now I'm working like a weasel on that side. Say, well, there were 8. They hit all of them, the targets. All of them, the rest of 47, I don't know where they were supposed to go. But the 8 destroyed 10 oblasts. The capability to give those guys electricity. Do you believe that? I mean, even if I argue from the point of, a maximum on your side, if I go to the maximum or the minimum on the other side, I'm saying no, all 8 that supposedly escaped just, flew somewhere else, went in space or killed 2 cows and 3 trees or something. That's from arguing from scarcity, not from maximum abundancy. And if you take it according to what the Ukrainians and the Brits are claiming, only 20% accuracy, make an average of 1.7, let's give them again 1.8, which is 20% out of 8 missiles about. I didn't calculate it. All right, it's something like that. Let's give them 2. Those 2 missiles that hit the targets, hit the most important targets, or they hit the targets as those bullets shot by Oswald hit JFK. Huh? The same? The same. The missiles went here, came there, hit all those targets, bam, bam, boom, 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 and then, I'm tired. Ew. Is that how it was? No, it wasn't that. So someone is lying. All right? So this is a clear example how you can look into a different article and you find the reality from the previous day or previous article that discussed a certain kind of event. And you learn many things like this, because these guys are just, don't read what these guys are saying, they're weasels, they don't think they're doing something wrong, they don't think. And not only that, it's just, if they do it, they also do it because they know the reader's IQ is not that acute, let's put it this way, mildly and nicely. But people like you and I are different. All right, so I can make articles like this, videos like this almost every day on all sides. Not only on the Ukrainian side, I can make on the Russian side, I can make it on, because that's the way it goes. In this case, these guys were just caught with their pants down with a flashlight. Oh shit. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.